Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today at the I/O Recap. My name's Ross, and I lead our apps partnerships business across APAC, working with the biggest and best of our developer partners across the region. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I've been with Google 7 years now, and in Asia for the last 2.5. And I continue to enjoy the sophistication and the challenges that great developers such as yourselves put in front of us. And the first thing I must do is thank you all for your continued partnership. We really enjoy working with you, and are very excited about all the improvements we keep bringing to the platforms you use. So I'm going to talk today about the sell side of our business and what we do to help you make money. I know you've heard a lot about how to find users and how to build your applications today. So we're going to spend a bit of time on helping you generate revenue. So our primary platform for helping you generate revenue from your audience is AdMob. And AdMob is not new. It's not brand new news to any of you because the platform's been going for several years. In fact, over 1 million applications worldwide are already using AdMob for monetization and to generate ad revenue. And we know that on top of that, it's really working. There's 1 million apps, but we've also paid out more than $3.5 billion to our partners across the globe. And as a result of this, we're still fully committed in investing in the platform so we can keep this number growing for all of you. So, as I mentioned, there are a lot of parts of Google's tools that help you across your business. And we tend to classify these into helping you develop, helping you grow, and helping you earn. And today now I'm going to focus on the earn side, where AdMob can make a big difference for your business. As we know, in-app purchases in Korea are very strong, and it's fascinating to see. But whatever happens, not everyone spends in applications. And therefore, a lot of developers rely on ads to earn money. And it's our mission at AdMob to make developers as successful as possible by enabling the best ad experiences for your users. So let's start there. Let's start with the experience we bring your users. So we think very hard about the user experience that you can offer your users. And every day we're thinking about questions such as whether there's a better way to match the right ad to the right users? Or can we make it easier for you to integrate our solution into your apps? Can we make ads load faster? Can we help you decide if more or less ads are better for the right users? Is portrait the new horizontal? Should we be helping you find new things there? Do new app categories need different display options? And how do you manage so many local and global partners? These questions may sound a little dull, but they're what gets us up in the morning and keeps us going, because making sure this advertising experience is good for your users and good for you is what powers a free and open internet. And it's really important to get ad-supported experiences right, because we know that the vast majority of app experiences are free. And as a user, this is fantastic. If you were to look at your phone, you would probably see that most of the applications you have are available for free. And we know, in fact, that it's 94% of downloads are driven without paying at the beginning. But as a developer, there's a very big difference when no one is paying for the download. So this is a question we've been spending a lot of time on recently. How can we help you increase the number of paying users and still earn ad revenue from the users who prefer not to pay. And one of the big investments we've been making in the last year is user-initiated rewarded ads. We launched this feature last year, and at GDC this year, we announced that we are now serving ads from Google's own network into this format. So here's an example. Zeptolab's newest title, Crash Arena Turbo Stars, which is great if you haven't played it. The cars you can see behind you are used to battle with other users across the world. And to build a better one, you need to open crates to obtain parts. Now, this is one of the crates in the game, containing parts that you'll need to crush your opposition. But, as you can see, the user is being asked to wait 2 hours to open it. But there's a couple of ways to accelerate this. One is to spend gems, which is a usual virtual currency bought with real money. Or, we're offering the ability to watch a video to skip 30 minutes of the wait. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So when a user chooses to engage, we've built a really engaging video format to allow them to see something and receive a reward. As you can see at the top, there's a countdown making it very clear that they have to wait until the end of the video. There's a clear call to action to install the application if they want, but they don't have to. And whatever happens, whether they install or not, they still receive the benefit from the previous screen. And when you go back, you're happier and you're more engaged in the game. And the thing we're really pleased about here is how well this format has worked. So we've seen both on engagement and from a user experience perspective, this has been a great step forward. And since implementing rewarded ads in this title, Zeptolab has seen revenue on AdMob increase by 3x. And even better, the users tend to become more invested with each ad that they view. And that can drive more paid in-app conversions. So we're seeing lots of our clients that used to rely solely on IAP using formats like rewarded to drive revenue and engagement at the same time. So let's say that doesn't work for you. One of the other things important around user experience is making sure that the ads you do show need to be interesting, relevant, and non-disruptive. And for that reason, we've been investing in native advertising. Native ads are designed to match an app's branding. So let's take a look at an example here. This is YouCam Perfect, a camera app with more than 50 million downloads. And they have a clear, simple UI that leads to the camera, to editing, and creation. But they've also added a seamlessly integrated native ad into their UX that really looks like part of their application and maintains a seamless experience. And for those of you who have built a very integrated experience in your app, this is the best way of keeping your users feeling they're still there. We've also been working on video formats. We know that users love video, but as I mentioned earlier, sometimes they're portraits, sometimes they're horizontal, sometimes they don't have data. So we've found automated ways to make sure that whatever your user's doing, they see the right video. The left-hand side, the portrait video here, is automatically generated from the video on the right-hand side to ensure the best user experience every time we show a video. And via machine learning, we're able to reduce longer videos down to 7-second engaging shorts for different moments in your game or application. We'll continue to see more video usage, and it's a key area of investment for us. On top of this, we're also focusing on driving playable engagement. And I'm sure this was mentioned in some of the promotional talks earlier. But expanding the standard formats with options like interactive playable ads, they require very little effort on your part to add in a richer and more engaging experience for your users that allows them to really understand the app that's being promoted, which is very important to make sure they're not being missold. So we see the increasing trend in engagement across video and playable ads as a key part of our format strategy through this year and next year. And hopefully, they will also delight your users. So, let me talk a little bit now about the business side of what we're trying to do. The formats are great for what you show your users, but we're also very concerned about how you, as a developer, interact with our platform. And we want you to be successful. So we did some research and found out what happened to our most successful developers. And looking at the top 1,000 developers on the AdMob platform, we found these statistics, that 95% of those apps are global. And global here doesn't mean 1 or 2 countries. That means they're generating revenue in over 200 countries. And those apps are almost all generating the vast majority, on average 85% of their revenue, not in the country where that app was developed. So, it's very clear to us at AdMob that in order for developers to really succeed, they have to be able to go global. And part of that is on you, building the right content to appeal to broad audiences. But part of that is on us, to make sure you have the tools and the platform to run a global business. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about how we're trying to help you handle the complexity that comes with a global business. We tend to see our developers use our platform in a 3-stage process. And to begin with, that's all about just getting started, making it easy to start using AdMob. Then, after that, we find that they need to go broader and more complex and scale with our platform. And lastly, they get to the stage where they're advanced and expend significant resources on optimization. Now, we've launched a lot of stuff at I/O this year, and as a result, there are actually 2 talks on the sell side. I'm only going to talk about monetize and scale now. After this, my colleague Sujong will go through a very exciting, detailed view of what happens when you optimize to the full potential of our platform. So please do stay around for that. It's actually more exciting than the platform side, I think. It's really interesting. But let me start with getting started and monetization. So this is often the very first step for all of you. So we've paid a lot of attention about how easy it is to get started. Now, the reason a lot of people start with us and trust us is because we have the global advertiser base of AdMob and Google behind us. And advertisers come to us because they know they can reach over 1 million applications and over 1.3 billion users through the AdMob network. So that's a great start. And hopefully that means people think about AdMob as a primary partner when they build their advertising business. But there were problems. So we've been talking to lots of developers, and we heard that there were concerns around onboarding, around the formats that were available, around how easy it was to create and manage ad units, and how easy it was to test the integration of our technology to make sure that your app remains stable. And lastly, to have access to key metrics explaining how your business was performing and growing with us. So, with all of these requests, we launched at I/O this year a completely revamped AdMob dashboard and front end, allowing you to manage your business in more detail. And many of you should see this already active in your account today. So let's switch across and look at what we've done here. So this is the new front end to AdMob. And this is for a simple client, as I mentioned, someone who's just getting started. And they only have 2 applications, which are performing very well, very high CPMs, and they've made about $1,000 in the last month across these 2 applications. So what we have here is a unified view of the account, simple, actionable key metrics at the top, and quick access to the applications that matter. But this is just the beginning. This is where you start when you create your first application. Let's look at what happens when it gets more complicated. This is a different application from an Israeli developer. Now, they have dozens of applications live with us. And you can see that their dashboard is quite different to reflect the way that they use AdMob. And that is an automatic change to highlight what's important. They can still see performance, the usual metrics, revenue, requests, match rate. But because they're more sophisticated and working with multiple partners, we've automatically added in a top ad network pane, allowing them to see who's doing well and who's doing badly. We were also asked to show where these changes have happened. Knowing who your major partner is different from knowing who's changed yesterday to today. So we've built a different view to allow for that as well. And so we have automated ways of surfacing top movers, top performers, and which ad formats and which placements have made you more or less money, allowing you to look in the morning and decide if there's action you need to take on your account. And we've really thought very hard about how we split out the individual app level data and the account level data. When you zoom in to one particular application now, you get a tremendous amount more detail about what that application has been doing. And you can see we've added in here revenue comparisons with the previous weeks, and critically, a lot of user metrics on the right-hand side. This is a big component of the changes we've made, and Sujong will be talking about it afterwards. But as you can see, there's an automatic addition if you join with Firebase of engagement statistics, viewability of ads, active users, and session duration, fully integrated into the monetization platform, allowing you to understand in one place how your app business is performing. And within this, again, you can quickly see where problems start and surface with top networks and which networks move around the most. It's a really detailed view of what's going on specifically and very easy to zoom into from a view of your whole business. So, to recap, we've rebuilt the front end to be very much focused on the apps that you have, to make the dashboards actionable, much easier to navigate, and really focused on the kind of insights that you need to manage your business, not just to look at a revenue number from one day to the next. And hopefully you'll all log in and see the changes that we've made here, because we're really proud of those. So let's quickly move on to discuss how we can also help you scale your business. Now, scaling is what everyone wants to do, right? You want to build a first app to begin with, and you want to see it take off, and you want to see it get bigger. But then your life does become more complicated. Growing developers need more than just one ad network. They need a platform which can partner with them and allow them to manage complex businesses. We have partners elsewhere in the world. Some of our bigger partners have teams of up to 30 engineers, historically, whose only job was connecting ad networks together, changing settings, pulling data, doing analysis on revenue performance, and then going in and making changes to optimize. These developers are spending a huge amount of time on ad operations, managing ad networks across different geographies and across different regions. So yes, this worked. They made more money that way, but it was a trade-off. I mean, would you rather spend 30 engineers worth of time managing ads or creating more content, new applications, and better experiences for your users? these developers were complaining to us and asked for help. And this is something that we knew we could help with and that we had to help with. So we've invested pretty heavily in taking the burden of ad management onto our platform and off you. So our goal was to make sure that all of our developers could do all of these things. Manage thousands of applications. Honestly, our largest developers do have thousands. Support more than 40 ad network partners, and this number continues to grow across all of display, native, and rewarded. As we've just seen, we've improved data visibility for users and for AdMob, but we also are working very hard on integrating data from the third-party networks, allowing you to have one consistent point of comparison in AdMob to manage your business. And lastly, because the largest developers will always attract direct advertiser interest, we've spent a lot of time enabling you to take that money from advertisers without building your own ad management system by enabling campaigns on top of network partnerships. Now, the major advance that we brought out at I/O this year was focused really on the management and data aggregation. And this view was designed to allow these problems to be solved. We heard that you guys needed to manage mediation as quickly as possible because all these clicks on different apps and different geographies add up. We knew that you needed detailed network reporting because understanding your revenue in one place is critical. And to that end, we expanded ad network optimization so that we can automatically collect that data from more of our partners and save you more time. And on top of that, we've also built out additional network adapters to allow you to connect to more partners using co-developed technology that we know works with them and with us. So we've been solving all of these problems. And the main launch on top of this is what we call mediation groups. Now, mediation groups are really designed to help you manage your entire portfolio of applications across regions and networks. I don't have time for a full demonstration, and this video is a little small, so I apologize. But the principle for mediation groups is that instead of making the same change 10 times for 10 applications, we've created a rules-based interface that allows you to decide once and apply to all your applications if you want one set of changes to configure and manage all of your network partners. And on top of that, we've added more abilities to call other networks, to show data from other networks, and we've updated the ability for our rewarded ads, which we mentioned before, to work with third-party mediation platforms as well. We believe our platform is the best, but we also know that many of you work with other platforms to manage your advertising. So we've put a lot of effort into this to allow a global business to be built on the AdMob platform. So, I'm just about at time. Just to recap, we've put a lot of effort into helping you start, a lot of effort into helping you grow, and really emphasize the integration between AdMob and Firebase to allow you to optimize. And that can have really dramatic business impacts, as Sujong will explain in the next talk. Thank you for your time.